first full moon of the year will light up at the night sky on Thursday, January 28, 2021. 90 facts about full moon. First, the full moon is the lunar phase when the moon appears fully illuminated from Earth's perspective. Second, this occurs when Earth is located between the Sun and the Moon, exactly where the ecliptic longitude of the Sun and Moon differ by 180 degrees. This means that the lunar hemisphere facing Earth is completely sunlit. It appears as a circular disk, while the far side is dark. The full moon occurs once roughly every month. When the moon moves into Earth's shadow, a lunar eclipse occurs, during which all part of the moon phase may appear reddish due to the Rayleigh scattering of blue wavelength and the refraction of sunlight through Earth's atmosphere. Lunar eclipses happen only during full moon, around points on its orbit where the satellite may pass through the planet's shadow. A lunar eclipse does not occur every month because the moon orbit is inclined 5.42 degrees with respect to the ecliptic plane of Earth. Thus, the moon usually passes north or south of Earth's shadow, which is mostly restricted to this plane of reference. Lunar eclipses happen only when the full moon occurs around either node of its own orbit. Therefore, a lunar eclipse occurs approximately every 6 months and often 2 weeks before or after a solar eclipse, which occurs during new moon around the opposite node. The next interval period between a new or full moon and the next same phase averages about 29.53 days. It is called a synodic month. In those lunar calendars in which each month begins on the day of the new moon, the full moon falls on either the 14th or 15th day of the lunar month. Because a calendar month consists of a whole number of days. A lunar month may be either 29 or 30 days long. A full moon is often thought of as an event of a full night duration. This is somewhat misleading because its phase seen from Earth continuously waxes or wanes, though much too slowly to notice in real time with the naked eye. Its maximum illumination occurs at the moment waxing has stopped. For any given location, about half of these maximum full moons may be visible. Half occurs during the day, when the full moon is below the horizon. Many almanacs list full moons not only by day, but also by the exact time, usually in Coordinated Universal Time (UTC). Typical monthly calendars that include lunar phases may be offset by one day when used in a different time zone. Full moon is generally a suboptimal time for astronomical observation of the moon because shadows vanish. It is a poor time for other observation because the bright sunlight reflected by the moon, amplified by the opposition surge, then outshines many stars. On 12 December 2008, the full moon occurred closer to the Earth than it had been at any time for the previous 15 years. This was called a supermoon. On 19 March 2011, another full supermoon occurred, closer to the Earth than at any time for the previous 18 years. On 14 November 2016, a full supermoon occurred closer to the Earth than at any time for the previous 68 years. Full moons are traditionally associated with temporal insomnia, which is the inability to sleep. Insanity, hence the terms lunacy and lunatic, and various magical phenomena such as lycanthropy. Psychologists, however, have found that there is no strong evidence for effects on human behavior around the time of a full moon. They find that studies are generally not consistent, with some showing a positive effect and others showing a negative effect. In one instance, the 23 December 2000 issue of the British Medical Journal published 2 studies on dog bite admission to hospital in England and Australia. The study of the Bradford Royal Infirmary found that dogs bite were twice as common during a full moon, whereas the study conducted by the public hospital in Australia found that they were less likely. Historically, month names are names of moon in lunisolar calendar. Since the introduction of the solar Julian calendar in the Roman Empire, and later the Gregorian calendar worldwide, people no longer perceive month name as moon name. The traditional Old English month names were equated with the names of the Julian calendar from an early time, soon after Christianization. According to the testimony of Bede ca. AD 700, some full moons have developed new names in modern times. Lunar eclipses only happen during a full moon and often cast a seemingly reddish tint over the face of the moon. This has been called a blood moon in popular culture. The harvest moon and the hunter's moon are traditional terms for the full moons occurring during the late summer and in the autumn. In the northern hemisphere, usually in September and October respectively, the harvest moon is the full moon closest to the autumnal equinox, coming anywhere from 2 weeks before to 2 weeks after that date. The hunter moon is the full moon following it. The names are recorded from the early 18th century. The Oxford English Dictionary entry for harvest moon cites a 1706 reference, and for hunter moon 1710 edition of the British Apollo, where the term is attributed to the country people. The names became traditional in American folklore, where they are now often popularly attributed to the Native Americans. The Feast of the Hunter Moon is the yearly festival in West Lafayette, Indiana. It is held in late September or early October each year since 1968. In 2010, the harvest moon occurred on the night of equinox itself for the first time since 1991. All full moons rise around the time of sunset. Because the moon moves eastward among the stars faster than the sun, its meridian's passage is delayed, causing it to rise later each day. On average by about 50.47 minutes. The harvest moon and hunter moon are unique because the time difference between moon rises on successive evenings is much shorter than average. The moon rises approximately minutes later from one night to the next. This is because a full moon in September appears to move not straight east but northeast in the sky. This is because a full moon in September appears to move not straight east but northeast in the sky. Thus, there is no longer period of darkness between sunset and moonrise for several days after the full moon. thus lengthening the time in the evening when there is enough light for men to see to work to get the harvest in. This 90 trivia came from Google. What is the importance of full moon? Humans have been living the lunar cycle for centuries, and in our modern world, connecting to this energy can give us a sense of grounding and synergy with the earth and cosmos. While the new moon is a time to set intention for the future and launch new projects, the full moon is a time of culmination and fruition. What does the full moon symbolize? Full moon meaning, the full moon is round and completely illuminated. It represents completion, the high power, the realization of your desire and the peak of clarity. It is a time to celebrate your growth. Take note of what process you have made and to reflect on how far you have come. Full moon benefits. First, cleanse your mental and physical space. The full moon tends to mark a big build-up of energy, both light and dark. This makes it the perfect time to cleanse your space, body, and mind. Remove or let go of any of the built-up energy you no longer feel, like harnessing, capturing, or otherwise holding on to. Can full moon affect mood? In the theory, the light of a full moon might disrupt people sleeping, which could influence their mood. Anne Wurst, Justice, a chronobiologist at the Psychiatric Hospital of the University of Basel, Switzerland, described where data on this relationship between lunar and manic depressive cycle as believable but complex. Using the power of a full moon, the couple of days before, during, and after a full moon represent a good time to bring things to fruition, release old energy, and draw outstanding issues to a natural close. Everyone, thank you for listening and watching. God bless. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.